Today we're going to be working with POR 15, and I'm kind of going to go in reverse here. So we're opening up the bag that I keep my POR 15 in, and this stuff's fairly expensive, and if you leave the lid off or if you leave any of it exposed, it hardens up and you can't use it, so it's a waste of money. So I figure what I usually do is tape the top of a Ziploc bag, and it seems pretty redundant, but for the 15 cents that it cost me to wrap it up, I do this. So I put it in a Ziploc bag, I tape the top of it, I put a plastic Walmart or Home Depot sack over the top of that, and in between the actual can and lid, I put the sack in there, because if you don't, the lid sticks to the can. So we'll pop this off, and usually when you get past this point it'll tear the plastic to get everything off, but you can see it's sealed pretty well, and that's why we don't have a hard chunk of POR in the bottom. And as soon as I open it up, I generally like to pour it out to whatever amount that I'm going to use. Here's the piece that I'm going to do. I've cleaned off all the loose rust. There's still some surface rust on there, but this product is pretty good for getting that off. It's all in the tight spaces, so we're just going to leave it like this. It's all going to get welded down, probably repainted again, so I'm not going to worry about doing an incredible job on this. I just want to get a coating on it, so when I weld it down, all the parts underneath are nice and covered. I like to use these plastic plates to pour the paint out onto. They hold it pretty well, and they're pretty cheap, and you can just set the brush down on them, throw them away when you're all done. And for a brush, we use the cheapo Chinese 50-cent 2-inch brush to apply the paint. So I'm going to pour out a decent amount there. I've got 2 of these things to do, and while I'm painting, even though I might use a little bit more of this later, I like to cover everything up, put the lid on it. Again, it's expensive and I don't want it to dry out. All done painting. Time to put her all back. I'd highly recommend do not take these off until you put away every single item that has paint on it, because this paint does not come off. And here's a look at the seats after the POR 15. Pretty good looking stuff. Probably not show car quality in a lot of ways, just texture wise, because it's put on with a brush, but definitely good enough for a restoration driver. We're getting ready tonight to install the seat tracks, which are sitting over there on my bench, into our Karmann Ghia that actually looks like a Chipotle burrito right now. The paint's been stripped off this car, or most of this car. I still got just a little bit left to strip off. We can barely see because the light bulb's burnt out up there. Need to replace that, but we're going to install both of the seat tracks. And last night, spent some time, got these painted up with the POR 15. The one thing that I did want to show you is I have these pieces in here, and you might be asking yourself, what are those pieces? They don't really belong. When I took the seat tracks off of the pan, I wanted them to maintain their tilt and their distance in the back. So I cut these pieces to fit the tracks, welded them in, just temporarily tack welded them in, so that they would hold the tracks, both sides of the tracks, in place while I cut them out and took all the spot welds out, and then when I weld them back in. So with any luck at all, these should be spaced properly for the seat, and they should be, you know, parallel with one another, the right size, all that jazz. So we're going to weld these in and hopefully put the seats in. And I asked my wife if she wanted to sit in the car and take a little fake drive tonight. I don't know if she'll want to do that or not, but we'll see.